Hi everyone. Yesterday I was trying to switch on and off this particular switch of my geyser, and I found something which I would like to share with all of you. You must have noticed that when I off the switch there is a spark, but when I on we don't see such sparks. So let's try to understand why that happens. But before that, let's see what are actually sparks. Let us consider these two metallic spheres which are oppositely charged. This has excess of electrons, so it is negatively charged, and this has deficiency of electrons, so it is positively charged. Now, these charges will produce something which we call electric field. So, electric field is the region surrounding the charge where if you keep another charge, it will feel a force. For example, in this region, if I keep a positive charge, then that positive charge will feel a force this side, isn't it? Because this plus will be repelled by this plus and this plus will be attracted by this minus. So positive charges will feel force in the direction of electric field. But if I put a minus charge in this space, then this minus charge will feel a force this side, isn't it? Because minus will be attracted to plus. So because of this electric field, plus and minus charges will feel force in opposite direction. Now, these electrons in this conductor would like to go towards the positive sphere, isn't it? But the problem is usually the air here is non-conducting. This air doesn't have any free electrons. It has neutral air molecules like nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide, right? So it's like, when you walk and suddenly if there is sparks on the cables, do you get electric shock? No, because the air in the middle is non-conducting. It is a very good insulator, right? However, when you keep these two charged spheres, what I told before, there will be an electric field from plus to minus, and this electric field will exert force on the charges which are inside the molecules, right? Even these molecules have charges inside. Negative charge is carried by electrons, positive charge is carried by protons. Now protons are deep inside the nucleus, right? Now if the electric field is strong enough, then this force can be very strong, and if the force is too strong, it is possible that electrons are removed from the molecules. If electrons are removed from the molecules, then this process is called ionization, and these electrons which are now free are called free electrons, right? And this molecule which is now positively charged are called positive ions. It's like if somebody is pulling my hair in this direction by pushing my body that side, then what will happen? Chances are, if the force is strong, the hair will come out, right? Now, once these electrons come out, even one electron, then what happens? This electron is going to feel force because of the electric field. So this electron will rush this side towards the positive sphere. As this electron moves this side, it will gain speed because of the force. As it gains speed, it will gain kinetic energy. And if the kinetic energy is very high, then this electron itself will collide with a molecule. And by collision, it can remove electron. So one electron, after colliding with one more atom or molecule, can create one more free electron. So now there are two free electrons, right? Now these two free electrons are also moving in the same space. So they will also feel the same force, they will also feel acceleration, they will also gain kinetic energy. So these two will collide with other two molecules, creating extra 2 electrons, right? So there will be 4 electrons. So that way the number of electrons will suddenly increase in this medium. And once this medium is full of electrons, free electrons, that means what? That means now this medium is no longer insulating, this medium has become conducting. And once this medium has become conducting, this negative charge will rush towards the positive charge, and as it happens, as it snaps through this medium, the atoms of this
medium, the molecules of this medium will get excited because of these collisions, and as they get excited and then de-excited, they will release the energy in the form of light, and that light is what you see as sparks, right? Now consider this circuit where there is a device, it could be a geyser and a power supply and a switch. Now as the switch is closed, some current will be flowing, right? Now every circuit has something what we call inductance. Besides having resistance, which you all know, it also has something called inductance. Now what is this inductance? Inductance is basically the property of the circuit to oppose any change in current. Therefore it has very similar role like mass has in mechanics. So in mechanics, when you try to push something, it changes its velocity. Your push, your force tries to change velocity, right? And who opposes that change in velocity? Mass, isn't it? If you have an elephant, if you have a mouse, if you give them the same kick, which will change less? The one that will change less is the one which has more mass, in this example elephant, right? So elephant's motion will not change too much because of your force, but mouse motion will 100% change easily, right? Because mouse has a less mass compared to elephant. So just like mass opposes change in motion, similar to that, inductance is that property of a circuit which opposes change in current. So now when you off the switch, what happens? Because of this property of inductance, the current will not decrease instantly to zero. It will continue, and as it continues, this current will result in accumulation of positive charges. Why positive charges? Remember, if current is shown this side, actually electrons are moving in opposite direction. So if current is going this side, electrons are coming in the opposite direction. So this will become excess, it will have excess of electrons, so negative, and this will have deficiency of electrons, so positive. So because of this property of inductance, the current will not decrease instantly to zero. It will decrease, but it will take time, meaning the current will continue, resulting in accumulation of positive charge here and negative charge here. Now if the current is high enough, which happens in geysers, right? Geyser requires more power. So if the current is high enough, this accumulation of charges will be very high. And if the charges accumulated are very high, the electric field here will be very strong. And if electric field is very strong, the medium here will get ionized. And once the medium gets ionized, these electrons here will jump towards the positive. And this jumping of charges is what results in sparks. Clear? Another way to understand the same thing is by using Faraday's law. So if you look at this formula, this E represents the EMF induced, which is voltage induced. L is the inductance of the circuit, and di by dt represents the rate of change of current. Now when you on the switch, the current will increase gradually, but when you off, suddenly, that time the time taken for decreasing the current is very small, because suddenly you have switched off. So when the time taken is very small, a very large EMF is induced. So try to remember that when you off the circuit or when you break the circuit, a very large EMF is induced.